Hello, welcome back. We're a bit late,
Yeah,
but
slightly belated, dude.
oh, that was a bit bad, that connection.
Oh,
Oh, I'll just carry on. Hope it's alright.
that's the good stuff. That is the good stuff.
Yeah, so nothing's happened again, really.
Yeah, so we've left
There's,
it an extra few days because we were both busy, well,
and, no,
drinking mainly,
and
and
nothing's happened.
yeah, we've given
In
an
the
extra
hope
four
something would happen
days.
over the weekend, but I mean, some stuff has, but not the big ones.
Yeah, John Heyman's tweeted a lot, um, not said that much. Mike Moustakas signed with the team that he really should have stayed with and just taken his mutual option with.
Yeah, that was the big news, really, which is not really
Yeah,
big. But
yeah.
yeah, how much was his option, by the way? Do you know?
I've got a feeling the option was a lot more than what he actually ended up
Oh, so
taking.
exactly the same as last year, where he declined
He
the
took, yeah.
the qualifying
Yep.
offer, and then took a smaller contract with the same team.
More great stuff from a Scott Boras client as
I mean, he is like last year, or he was like it felt like he was overrated. I feel like he's almost underrated now, in a way. But it's partly because of third base just being so stacked.
yeah, he's just like league average, isn't he? He's
Yeah,
just a league average third baseman, but when it's very strong,
but
so he's
slightly
actually
slightly above average, I think, isn't he? He's well, like he's a half decent defender, and he has power. I suppose, yeah. Compared to third baseman, he's league average, but like as a hitter, he's like an above average hitter, I think, isn't he? 28 home runs last year. Basically, he's got quite a bit of power.
yeah.
Not that much else, but that'll do, I suppose.
So the option was $15 million, and I think it was like 6.5 he's re-signed for.
Oh Jesus!
It was a mutual option, but
Oh,
the
mutual.
report I saw was he declined it, so I don't know if they would have been willing to go through with it.
Oh my
But like,
God!
that's a lot of money to leave on the
Almost
table.
exactly the same as last year with the Royals.
Yeah. Um, it's almost like Scott Boras is just trying to fight against a market that is actually more powerful than he is. And basically twice it seems like twice he's advised Moustakas to do something that's lost him a lot of money.
Yeah, because
And like,
I think the thing is with it is there was. I mean, at the time, at the start of the off season, it didn't seem like there was any real fit, particularly
no,
because you've got. I mean, even the teams that are going for Mercado and stuff, like the Padres, it's like they're only going for Mercado because it's Mercado. It's not like if they don't get him, they'll just get another veteran third baseman. If they don't get Mercado, they're definitely still in rebuild.
yeah,
Really, there's no point them getting someone that's just not as good.
no. One of the teams I thought was a decent argument for is teams that could be getting Mercado to play short, then get Moustakas to play third,
Yeah,
and just go, we're going to revamp everything. I thought there was a decent fit at the Phillies, actually. So you go, we'll take out Franco and Cesar Hernandez, Segura to second, Mercado short, Moustakas third.
yeah,
Or the
and
same
then
at the White Sox.
that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know why you'd get Mercado and play him at short. To be honest,
No, well, that's the other thing. So that kind of cancels out what I just said, and I agree. I don't. He's
because
looks a better third baseman.
you always have the argument of, oh, as a shortstop, he's even more valuable because of his bat. But he's also a lot worse defender, and it doesn't make a difference unless you've got a third baseman that's like just as good,
Yeah,
which Mustakas isn't. So it's like if you would have Mercado short and Mustakas third, it's like you might as well just put Mercado third and put
yeah,
someone else
and
at shortstop
yeah, it just
because you don't lose
like
that much offensively.
yeah. But Moustakas he's kind of the squeezed middle in the free agency market at the moment. He's got like this perfect cocktail of things I wouldn't say it's against him because he isn't that good. It's just that like we were saying just before we started recording was all of the good teams have third basemen who are at least as good as Moustakas, and if they
Yeah,
don't, they have a young guy
yeah, like Devers.
or even Andahar who it's
Yeah,
like he's probably
well,
better than Moustakas
there's
now,
the
but
other
why
thing
would you
actually.
pay for Moustakas?
Mentioning the Red Sox, that they're the ones that kind of obviously could have improved at third base with Mustakis. I mean, behind Devers as well, they've got Chavis, who's like their top prospect.
Yeah,
He's like
and
their only decent prospect left, I think, pretty much.
and they don't seem interested in spending money anyway. So it's like, why would they spend on a marginal upgrade and maybe block a prospect? It just doesn't make any sense. There's like
Yeah,
no fit for him. Well, there is at Miller Park that's kind of all right. Travis Shaw played a serviceable second base.
yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Brewers
Yeah,
as well. To be honest, it's like that's sort of what they're going for last year was not worrying about defense too much. We're just going to have a lot of sluggers in the infield.
we're going to hit millions and millions of home runs, and they did.
Yeah, who they got playing short? Is it still
Uh,
Arcia?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
he's not so good, is he?
He has to basically field the whole of the infield, while the others just like
Yeah,
sit
but
there thinking about
he's
the
not
next
even
home run.
good though, is he? I don't think he's even good defensively. Or like
I don't think
Arcia.
I don't think he's amazing.
I thought he was like below average defensively. Stuff I was looking at the other day. For shortstop. He's still only 24 though. But he's also not hit at all in his major league career. Interesting.
Cheap though.
Yeah, but also
And
bad.
But then they've also they can carry him because they've got Grandal.
Oh yeah,
So they now have.
forgot they've got
Before they were
Grandal in the
using
infield as well.
Manny Pina
That's a lot
and
of
Eric
power
Pratt.
actually, isn't it? In the
Yeah,
infield now, apart from Arcia. But like
but that's the thing is you.
Shaw, Moustakas, Aguilar, and Grandal, like all of those could hit 30 home runs. And
Yeah,
it wouldn't be that surprising.
yeah. But that's why the Grandal signing was so immense earlier in the off season, because it basically when you have a catcher that can hit and one that can defend like Grandal, then you can have one of the other up the middle positions. You can go for a defensive specialist, and you don't go. Now we have like a terrible bottom of the lineup. They're
Yeah,
going to have a bad 8 hitter, but they're 7 hitter. Who's going to hit 7? Is like Travis Shaw going to hit 7 or Moustakas?
yeah, possibly. The connection just went a bit dodgy there again. This is it's not ideal.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
But yeah, they've basically the same thing as last year. Is I think they kind of had to get him back really. 'Cause last year basically they didn't have. I suppose Yelich was pretty good, but no one really expected him to be quite that good. Is they've kind of not got the massive superstars really. Even though Yelich played like one last year, there's just a deep lineup of like a lot of like pretty decent hitters.
Yeah, a lot of above average
It's
guys.
going to be what is it like? It's going to be like Kane, Yelich,
Aguilar,
Aguilar third, or yeah,
he might be 4. I don't know, but that's how good it is. Is that those two will be 1 and 2, but then like they're just going to throw all the names on a piece of paper.
where's it? Who's there? Who's there actually?
Ryan Braun, I guess.
Oh yeah, he's not bad as
He
well, is he?
he might be 3. I think he was 3 last year.
And this with Eric Thames like on the bench.
Yeah,
They're basically doing the same with pitching as well, aren't they? I think it's partly why but do you see the projection stuff
mm.
of I think I read something on the Athletic the other day about it that there's the projections like different projections really disagree on the Brewers.
Yeah,
This was before the Moustakas thing, but I can't, what was it? Oh, this isn't great. I can't remember what they were. But one of the projections had them below 500, and the other one had them getting like 89 wins ish.
yeah,
And I think it's because they are kind of doing stuff differently. They by like in the lineup and in the pitching, they've just got like a lot of guys that are decent or could be good.
yeah,
Like the rotation, like I don't really know what the rotation is going to be. I mean, there probably is a projected rotation, but like they seem to just have like 8 or 9 guys. I think like they did the start of last season. That like going into spring training, it could be any of these guys. Could be
Well, and then you have a couple out of the bullpen, I think, ideally, because they suffered injuries
yeah,
last year. So then you have the depth out of the bullpen if one of them struggles, and you can move the rotation around, and then you have 3 or 4 like scary arms at the back of the bullpen.
yeah. it's basically like the modern way of doing it, isn't it?
It's also the part of the thing that's impacted free agency a lot is, well, they were a game away from the World Series last year. People have realised that just putting like an ace and an MVP hitter in a team doesn't do anything.
No.
But that's pointless. I mean, you can see plenty of teams that have that, and they just not anywhere near it. You have to have other stuff around them. It's the concern, as we've said countless times in this podcast, like with the Phillies, even if they get one of them, is there are still going to be holes. The idea is don't have holes.
Yeah, having loads of guys that are above average or good to above average is a lot better than having one guy that's like going to be contending for MVP and a load of guys that are average.
And it's ultimately what the Dodgers have done, but because of their payroll, they've had superstars too.
Yeah,
but like their pitching
and the Muncy stuff and Taylor, where they've had guys come out of nowhere to be like good hitters.
Yeah, but
Muncy was more than good really last year.
Yeah, but it's building a team by committee, isn't it? It's like so I know they've made a couple of blockbuster trades where they've had a star in there. But it's like Justin Turner, he's really, really good, but he's often been like their best hitter.
Yeah, and he's not as good as most other contenders' best hitters.
No, he's not as good as Chris Bryant was when the Cubs won the World Series, or as Bryce Harper will probably be, whoever he's playing for next year. But they're then like their third,
Altuve.
Yeah, their third,
Judge,
fourth, and fifth best hitters are amazing though. It's like they have the best 7 and 8 hitters, and then the Dodgers bench, like the guys they're bringing off the bench for matchups.
Yeah, I guess the thing is with the Dodgers as well is that they do it that way. It's like the thing of they do stuff differently, but they're also rich.
Yeah.
So they can afford to have the deep lineup by doing stuff cleverly, and then just in the middle of it, like they can afford to just go and trade for Mercado.
Yeah.
Or like if they really wanted to, they probably could have re-signed Mercado like this off-season, but it doesn't seem like they're that interested in that. But you know, they could afford to just have the deep lineup and then just put an MVP in the middle of it. Why not?
Yeah. And then you've lost because it's then like they've got the best hitter in the game and they've got the best fifth hitter in the game, and it's impossible.
Yeah.
So what else was that happened? The wild excitement of Derek Dietrich getting a minor league deal
announced like just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
pretty blockbuster stuff.
Wait, where was he went?
Reds.
Oh wow, that's a big one. That is huge stuff.
It's pretty insane, isn't it? Pretty insane.
Yeah. But it is, like you were saying, it is sort of a. I think that's the one that's like a bigger. Oh, what's the word? I've lost words.
Lost what words?
A bigger indicator of the free agent market rather than like the top guys, like Harper Mercado, because I was saying a second ago just before recording that he's basically like an average hitter. He's a decent average hitter that can play a load of positions, and like if no one was giving him, no one else is giving him a major league deal, a contender just offering him, a couple of million to sit on the bench. He's like a perfect, like double switch guy or something.
Yeah.
Swap him in into any position, and he's got a bit of power. I mean, like, it's got a little bit of average, hit for a little bit of average. It's like, he's not good. I wouldn't say he's good, but it's sort of like a pretty good utility player. A bit like Solarte for the Giants.
Yeah.
The Giants signed, but so it's Solarte as well.
Yeah, he'll make the roster.
Yeah, he probably will. That actually really badly. There's similar kind of thing where probably 40 to like 760 OPS sort of thing, like most of their career, and can play a load of positions. Although I think I've heard about Solarte, and you just said the same about Dietrich, that even though they can play loads of places, they're not actually good at any of them.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you just pick up a random glove and they can play it as in they don't have a position, but that might not necessarily be a good thing.
Yeah, it doesn't. It might be more that they don't have a position because they can't play anywhere, rather than they can play everywhere.